Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back through daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about Quant Network, aka Q&T. So let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So I hope everybody is having a great day or a great night wherever you guys are. In regards to the markets, yes, we are still on track to do exactly what I did say in yesterday's video, which would be the run up to about almost 25K before having a nice little drop down to like 22.6K. I'm hoping to see that happen. And then we run up to like 28K, for an example, to close out the weekly and monthly candle close. Don't know exactly how that is going to fully play out, but that is personally what I am watching for. And Q&T has been pretty much sitting stable in terms of the gains that it has recently made. Here we are up about 5% on the 7-day span, sitting at about $105 or $106 actually. Trading volume is down about 24%. We actually came down after hitting a little bit of a resistance zone. We've been hitting the same area for a while, or even close to the same area that we have been rejecting off of. So I'm expecting maybe possibly a test of this like $90 range before continuation upward, which would play into like Bitcoin having a pullback. But is that guaranteed? Not necessarily, and honestly, does it really matter? Because I have been discussing this with a lot of individuals in this market actually, and it's more so like the idea that everybody is always on the fence on what they should do, or like asking other people what they should do. For an example, a lot of people ask me like, "Hey, do you think now's a good time to buy into Q&T?" To me, it's the idea that like it does not matter what the chart says. It does not matter what the market, says. It does not matter what somebody says or what somebody thinks is going to happen. Play your own plan, have your own conviction. It does not matter what anybody else is telling you. It's all smoke. It's all noise. It does not matter. The reason why I say that and the reason why I tell you guys that is because if you're waiting to buy something until somebody tells you to buy it, 9 times out of 10, guess what? You missed out on a great opportunity. It's almost like going to a car dealership, right? And you know what kind of car you want to buy, but the dealership is telling you that you should buy this car because, again, like that's their choice. Again, have your own, choice, have your own, determination around this market, and have your own plan. It does not matter what any other influencer is telling you. It does not matter what anybody is telling you at all. Now, talking more so about Q&T, we do see here Q&T solves problems across industries, digital, currencies, payments, supply chain and trade finance, capital markets, compliance, insurance. Quant represents the future of finance. And I tend to agree, actually. We do see here capital markets, payments, digital currencies, insurance, supply chain and trade finance, and of course, compliance. Now, with all of this in mind, you're probably thinking, well, are you just like, forever bullish on Q&T? 100%. We look at all of these markets, we look at all of these industries. Like I would argue the fact that like not only even Q&T, right? Take a step back. Crypto has barely stepped into all of the industries that it could, fully disrupt. Like we are still very early on this market and on this technology. The day that I see crypto tech being implemented on the foundational layer of everyday life, that's when I will say, okay, we're no longer early, or I should say, we're no longer extremely early, but we're just kind of early, right? People are finally utilizing the technology, but like the day of mass adoption, the day that like we take a step back and we really kind of just congratulate ourselves for not only being early investors but also visionaries, is the day where your friend, your friend's grandmother, your friend's grandmother's sister, your friend's grandmother's sister's friend, like the day that all of those individuals are utilizing crypto technology without even realizing it, is the day that we could officially say, wow, crypto has finally been mass adopted, and the technology stack behind it in terms of its power and potential has truly been realized. Until that day, we are still so early. And honestly, I would say that we are probably extremely early right now. and barely, any individuals out there even realize the power behind a lot of these, assets. I would actually argue the fact that a lot of individuals actually don't even really realize the technology behind most of this market. They're just here to make gains. And we also see over here from San and L11, or San and L11, Oracle calls how QT solves interoperability the most challenging facet of interoperability. These are levels, and here we have three facets of blockchain interoperability. We could actually open this up in a new tab real quick. So first off, they do, this is from Oracle's website, by the way. They do say down here, third and perhaps the most challenging facet of interoperability is cross-ledger support when different, technologies and protocols are involved. Now, the funny thing about this is I love the fact that they also mentioned like ISO TC 307 Standards Committee on Blockchain and Distributed Ledger Technologies. More so like, this is, talking about the efforts to solve this challenge. And ISO TC 307 was, of course, formulated from, Gilbert Verdian. And they do also talk about like Quant down here has been working, with Oracle and the Oracle blockchain platform team to address those challenges with a production-ready solution, which they basically already have. But the funny thing about this is like, yeah, this is 100% crucial for crypto. Like there is going to be a need for interoperability between cross ledgers, because like all of these DOTs, like everybody always wants to say like, hey, Constellation's better than Hedera, or Hedera's better than this, or that's better than that. It does not matter what your argument is saying about these DOTs. It's the fact that like these DOTs are going to be adopted in no matter which one is better. So we're going to live in a multi-DLT, world. But what really matters is what's going to interconnect all of them to one. And I do believe that, Quant is going to, play that role. And I think that it's going to be a pretty substantial role to play. And we also do see over here, one day you will all realize what was happening underneath you. Can you imagine the network effect of interoperability? I can. And shout out to Lord Quantonian. Wow. Love the name. Big Bags 30K. And we do see here, why are we building closed proprietary technology in isolation? Because they know, how large this is actually going to be. And the funny thing is, like, you take a step back and you actually see the value proposition behind something like interoperability that, is solved between not just like blockchain, because blockchain, interoperability is completely diverse compared to like cross ledger, cross token, even cross market. You look at like crypto to legacy markets, and it's like it's very hard to actually interconnect them to, as we have been seeing in the past from like a lot of like central bankers even discussing this. But like Quant has solved it, and they are so like under the radar that it has not been fully spotlighted from any of these major players. Now, the funny thing about this is like, yeah, imagine the network effect of this, right? Imagine the, I always kind of say like, imagine the utility network effect of this. We actually do see over here as well, like QT holders are increasing and will continue to get harder to own QT. Just wait till adoption and more people wake up to QT or Quant. We will be at 100,000 holders sooner than most think. And shout out to Drunk Monk 21 here. But we do see like Quant top holders, token address, decimals, and again, like you see like the top 100 holders, like the top 100 holders collectively own 71.92% of the tokens of Quant. And I know that a lot of people are probably going to say, well, what? I mean, doesn't that mean that like, a large portion of like the supply is centralized? No, absolutely not. And I would honestly say like, when we really kind of look around Quant, by the way, like this token total supply, like this 24.4 million QT. I know that a lot of people are probably going to question like, isn't there only like 14? Yes, this is like, a lot of this is snapshotted either before the burn or, during the burn, or, possibly even taken into accountability like the burn address. But yeah, like around like the actual holders, like 71.92% tokens of Quant, like that 71% or 72% is diverse, or I should say, like it's completely diverse between like the top 100 holders. So it's not actually centralized. And what's funny, when you compare like the tokenomics around Quant, like the top 100 holders, to like, even tokens like Ethereum, disbursement is not nearly as great as this, which is funny, right? But also over here, this could explain why we're seeing the batched QNT movement slash storage. And shout out to Three Toe Sloth One. In finality, Overledger is powered by QNT. Growth of the network translates to increased demand for QNT tokens through license fees and transactions. You can even see the evidence on chain, and this is a 4-part overall section on this. More so like talking about QNT and how it really kind of powers Overledger. We don't really need to read this entire thing up here, but if you guys do want to read this, you guys are more than welcome to go check out Three Toe Sloth 1. I do advise you to go read this because it does talk more so about like the utility, which I've actually discussed. But here we have the CEO actually talking about the utility of QNT.
We'll be having anyone hosting gateways to run their own gateway on their own servers and their infrastructure. That means they will pay for licenses in QNT, and all the transactions can be billed using QNT across the network. And so our job is to create this open ecosystem where anyone can be a participant, where is in the background bringing enterprise and institutional use cases to the network. We have lots and lots of meetings every week with governments, with enterprise, with institutions, with clients who want to build new technology and new multi what we call MDAPs, so multi DLT distributed applications on top of the network. So the QNT token is at the core of everything that we're doing. And what happens is if you own gateways and you run this on the network, when you process transactions, you get paid in QNT. It's a great ecosystem that we're building, and this will evolve. We want to make it the currency and the payment option for all the data and the transactions that are being put on the network, so people can actually trade in QNT, and it can be used for hundreds and hundreds of use cases around AI, data. If you want to do an MDAP on payments, if you want to do an MDAP as an exchange, if you want to do anything, compute, if you want to create like an AWS equivalent on the Overledger network, all of this is possible. So QNT has just become that, pure utility token that can be used for everything.
And I love the fact that he says that it's like, the pure utility token that could be utilized for everything. And, that is like the gist of it. That's why I say, like, at some point in time, and I know that this is going to be, taken as like one of those statements that is like, oh, he's using that for clickbait, whatever. I would say that QNC at one point in time is going to be like, it's going to get to the point where you will no longer be able to afford to buy QNT. You might buy, portions of it, sure, but it's going to be to the point where you're just not going to be able to buy QNT. There might actually be a day in time, and I say there might be a day in time where somebody is going to want to buy QNT, but it's just not going to be available. Like it might be unbuyable at some point in time. And the reason why I say this is because of the demand around QNT, and also like the utility around it as well. And also, you combine this with like the tokenomics and how, just scarce it is. Like, yeah, it plays perfectly into that. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, to notifications on. If you guys don't want free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day or beautiful night, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. It's been Nick. Peace out, guys.